Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Kam karatu vasalam pangulam yate guru vyasi vada. Vancha kapataru chakri vacha. Patitanam pavane Vaishnava. So we welcome each and everyone to today's class. Bhakti Vaibhav, Canto 4, Chapter 11. Where did we stop exactly? Can somebody remember?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It's 4:11:29.
4:11:29. So can somebody remind us of our last discussion before we close the class? So anyway, so Ambuva Manu was instructing all of us through Dhruva Maharaj how we should act in order to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That we should all realize that the parameter for action should be, will it please the Lord? Or in other words, the pleasure of the Lord should be the basis of our actions. That we have desires, everybody has desires, and material desires have bound us in this material world, unlimited material desires. And that as living entities, we are eternal souls, and the desire cannot be removed from us. So rather than desiring the material sense gratification and getting entangled, we should desire to please the Lord. So when desire is to take the channel towards pleasing the Lord, that same desire which binded us will now free us. So how to act in a way that the Lord will be pleased with us. This was what he was explaining, and he made all kinds of analogies, explaining the creation, the primary cause, the secondary cause, and he was explaining everything as to how the living entities' desires and actions, what have placed us where they are, whether they're in a suffering condition or they're in an enjoying condition. It is the reaction of their activities. And that Dhruva Maharaj, brother, was killed by the Yaksha, and that actually it was the Supreme Personality of Godhead who killed him, but the Yaksha was just an instrument in the process. So yes, it is correct that as a king, as protector of the citizens, when one of the citizens is violated, it is the duty of the king to also come out and react and punish the offender. But here is a case whereby Dhruva Maharaj has already punished the offenders, and he has, because of one person, one offender, he has killed hundreds and thousands of yakshas, that he was overreacting. That he should never forget that the Supreme Lord is actually the ultimate cause. Without the sanction of the Lord, nothing will happen. So he should act with restraint. He should stop now. He should measure his activities. Are they going to please the Lord? What he's doing right now, will it please the Lord? If not, he should stop. So this is where he was, and all kinds of analogy as to how if the government put somebody in the prison. Okay, first we're asking who actually created the prison. Is it the government or the the citizens or the criminals. And in the analysis, we were made to realize that actually the desires, whimsical desires and activities of the criminals that made the government to create the prison for them. The government has created the prison so that they can be reminded there and be taught the process of rectification. So on one hand, the criminals have created the prison. On the other hand, the government has created the prison. But the government actually created the prison to fulfill the necessity of accommodating and rectifying or restoring the criminals. So the criminals are also their co-creators. And by the same token, he was explaining the potter's wheel. The potter's wheel example was given. That the potter's wheel, the clay is involved, but the potter, the machine itself is involved. Then the person operating the machine is involved. So three causes are involved. So Dhruva is dealing with the instrumental cause, and you should know that there is the operator, material nature, and also there is the supreme controller, who is actually Krishna. Without whose sanction, nothing happens. Then it takes time to explain the Kala Shakti, as the Nimitta Karana in this material world. The Kala Shakti, which is an expansion of the super soul of the universe. It's actually the Nimitta Karana. That it is it's acting on behalf of the Lord, and is the ultimate cause of all causes. And that our actions are done, but time activates and brings the reaction. And by time, everything in this material world comes to an end. So Dhruva Maharaj should take it easy, restrain himself. He should give up anger, and that anger is very, very dangerous. That when anger beclouds our mental space, we can do anything nasty. We will not know our boundary anymore. The influence of anger, very, very dangerous. So at this point, you should stop acting with anger. So these are instructions being given here. And of course, we are going to see how Swayambhuva Manu will connect this to how the king of the Yakshas, Kuvera himself, is being offended by these actions. And that offending Kuvera is very, very dangerous. And Kuvera is not an ordinary person. So you should act in a way to please Kuvera by stopping the fighting and by going to beg Kuvera, apologize to Kuvera for such actions. And in the end, we are going to see how when Dhruva Maharaj accepted to stop the fighting, we saw how Kuvera himself became very pleased with Dhruva. Kuvera appeared on the scene. He accepted his apology, and he was pleased with Dhruva. And he also spoke the same philosophy, that actually Dhruva Maharaj is not the killer. Dhruva Maharaj is not the killer. It's only an instrument in the hand of the Lord also. So he calmed him down and blessed him. He was happy with Dhruva. Was for obeying Swayambhuva Manu, his grandfather, and stopping the fight. So by extension, we will say, if somebody commits an offense, we are humans. And when we make offenses, that is just one hand. And when we are being told of the offenses we have committed, when we are reprimanded, when we are chastised for the offenses we commit, we should be able to come to our senses and try to get a reformation of consciousness. And if that happens, immediately forgiveness also comes. Forgiveness comes. So that is it. As long as we are in this world, we'll be committing offenses. But are we ready to take corrections? If we do, then definitely there will be forgiveness. And stopping and taking correction means we don't do that thing again. Even on the basis of initiation, spiritual initiation, all is part of this. That at the point of initiation, the guru absorbs our previous sinful reactions and also kill the potential seed of sin in our hearts. But they expect us to sin no more. Sin no more. So on that part, surrendering to the Lord is glorified. Devotional service is glorified over all other activities. And Dhruva Maharaj was instructed to act for the pleasure of the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, all our activities are successful. So this is the point for it. So on this note, can we continue from where we stopped? He said it's test 28, have we? Or 20, 28 or 29? Let's start from 28. I'm sorry, my phone is fighting with me here, so forgive me. I'm trying to see phone is clicking itself and bouncing off and down, dancing acrobatically. So I think 28 is Ya Pancha Varso, isn't it? Dear devotees, please be responsive. Be responsive. Be responsive. When we ask questions, you should answer so that we can go on. I'm telling you how my phone is fighting me here. So if I'm calling for help, where are we? Answer. Read. Answer. Otherwise, I'm fighting with phone here also. So please, 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 I want you to come on board to act. Let us act. Where are we exactly? You said in verse 29, we stop at 29. So let us start from 28. Somebody should
Yes.
read 28,
Prabhuji,
please.
can I read?
Read, please.
Yeah. Ya panchavarsho jananim tvai vihaya matu sapalya sapatnya vachasa bhinnam marma vanam gatastapasa pratyaksha maradhyablebhe mugnim padam trilokya. Translation: My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife, and you very boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process for realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds. Purport: Manu was very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendants in his family. Because at the age of only 5 years, Dhruva began meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Factually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty or the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj the glory of the family of Swayambhu Manu, but he is also glory of the entire human society because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead. He was especially requested not to do anything unbefitting a surrendered soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Dhruva Maharaj was not only the pride of Swayambhuva man, but he's a pride of the entire human race. Entire human race. Because just at the age of 5, he was able to see the Lord face to face. At the age of 5, he was able to leave home and perform austerity obediently to the point that he was able to see the Lord face to face. Just at the age of 5, he left. And so it is a pride to see the Lord. Is not an ordinary thing. And unless you are a pure devotee, you cannot see. So in our last discussion, Salika Prabhu asked a question. That what stage was Dhruva Maharaj? And every devotee suggested, they brought their point how he was a Madhyama. He was a Madhyama Bhakta. And in the end, His Grace Salik Prabhu was able to draw attention to the point that Dhruva Maharaj was already a pure devotee. Because unless you are a pure devotee, you cannot see the Lord face to face. And he explained that it's an Uttama Bhakta, but just like Arjuna, who is an eternal associate of the Lord, with Nara, was put into illusion for the Lord to speak Bhagavad Gita. The Lord influenced Dhruva, covered him temporarily, so he could, directly or indirectly explain these points that we have been relishing. So that was a very beautiful addition we ended with. That Dhruva was already an Uttama Bhakta, but the Lord influenced him in a way that he acted the way he did. And for that, for his sake, a whole lot of transcendental knowledge spoken here. So we can see that, yes, it is very glorious that just at the age of 5, that means he has strong determination. And by the same token, if we have strong determination to do the right thing, there will be divine intervention and purification will also take place. So it is said one of the secrets of devotional service is that strong determination to do the right thing. We should be strongly determined to do the right thing, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And if we are thus determined, definitely we eventually become humble, because the Lord will, there will be intervention, and the more there is intervention of the Lord, the more we realize how small we are. The more advanced we become, the more we realize how insignificant we are. Then eventually we become very, very humble, knowing that actually we are very insignificant servants of the Lord. Then our success in devotional service begins, because our attitude will be fine. Okay, so if there are some comments on this particular test, more comments students can bring forth. Otherwise, we'll go to the next test, because we already read this particular test before. We had it again today, just to refresh our memory. So, otherwise, somebody should read the next verse, verse 29. How can this phone do this to me? The phone is fighting with me, serious. This. Phone is constantly disconnecting me from the page I have. So, yeah, somebody should read, please.
Yes. Tameva Tam inam anggat mani bukta yahai yapasitam nigunam itam aksyaram Atmanam Avishat Vimoktam Atmade Yasmin Idam Bidam Satiyati. Translation. My dear Jehovah, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman, says the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position. And thou, self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely weakling. Purport. The living entities have three kinds of vision according to their position in self-realization, according to the bodily concept of life. One sees differentiation in terms of varieties of bodies. The living entities actually passes through many varieties of material bodies, but despite all such change of bodies, he is internal. When living entities, therefore, are viewed in the bodily conception of life, one appears to be different from another. Lord Manu wanted to change the vision of Dhruva Maharaj, who was looking upon the Yakshas as different from him or as his enemies. Virtually, no one is an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma. But as soon as one is situated in his spiritual identity, he does not see differentiation in terms of these laws. In other words, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Jamambhuta Pachana Natma Na Sutati Na Kanchati Sama Saveti Mutesi Mad Bhaktam Nibati Kalam. A devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of the outward body. He sees all living entities as equal, internal servant of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see with that vision. He was especially advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon other living entities ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu points out to Dhruva Maharaj that out of material affection, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin, Yasha as his enemy. Such observation of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in his original position as an internal servant of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the living entities have three kinds of vision. What are these three kinds of vision according to the purpose?
According to the purpose,
Yes.
the living entity has three kinds of vision.
Yes. According to their positions in self-realization. Three kinds of vision. Yes, dear devotees, please let us be interactive. kinds of vision according to the purport. And what are these three? Are we there? Are we all there? What are these three kinds of visions?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are here.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, one is he sees all living entities as a spirit soul. And then the second one is eternal servant of the Lord. He is eternal servant of the Lord.
Okay.
And he does not see a differentiation in terms of the outward body.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
You
right.
get it. So let's listen to the purport again. Judge Swarup is pointing to it. The living entities have, yeah.
I think
Carry on.
the three type of vision, ordinary vision, material vision, and spiritual vision. So the examples Prabhuji have given, they all fall under spiritual vision.
Okay. You say, what are the three kinds again?
Ordinary vision, material vision, and spiritual vision.
Okay, what is the difference between ordinary vision and material vision?
Ordinary vision is lower than material vision. Material vision is based on what we can get and enjoy. Ordinary vision sometimes is undefined.
Okay. So material vision is the bodily concept of life. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Actually passes. So due to bodily concept of life, what are the things that happen that are still happening in this material world also? There is operation on the platform of enmity and friendship. Basically, people who are influenced by bodily vision, bodily concept of life, they see differentiations in terms of varieties of bodies. So there is always enmity and friendship. This one is my family member. This one does not like me. This is my enemy. I should please my family members and friends. I should kill my enemies. So in this way, conducted by the mode of passion, bodily differentiation define every relationship. And by extension of that, there is war. My country, your country is an enemy to my country. Therefore, once you are from that country, I can kill you. Just differentiation, bodily differentiation. It brings about conflict, deeper conflict. And how does that relate to this particular topic we are dealing with? Here, Swayambhuva Manu is pointing out to Dhruva that this platform is acting on right now is the bodily platform. He's seeing Uttama as his brother, and he's seeing the Yakshas as enemies, and therefore he's killing all the Yakshas that the Yakshas do not have the right to even live on the planet anymore. He has taken up the responsibility of annihilating the Yaksha race, whereas he is not the one who created the Yaksha race. The Yakshas are descendants of Kuvera. They have their role they are playing on the earth to create a balance. And not all Yakshas are demons. There are demons among them. There are devotees among them. But here's a situation out of anger. arising from bodily concept of life. Dhruva is annihilating every yaksha. That means on the bodily platform of existence, anger can possess our consciousness. And when anger possesses our mental space, everything can be destroyed. One can do so many, one can break a vehicle, his own vehicle screen, he can break it. Out of anger, one stabs somebody. Out of anger, one poisons his wife, or a wife poisons the husband. Out of anger, there is war, intertribal war. Out of anger, there are intercontinental wars. So many things happen out of anger. Out of anger, deadly weapons are released. And out of anger, there is betrayal, there is hypocrisy of all kinds. So we should check, as devotees who want to make progress in spiritual life, we should check the force of anger. Your anger is one of the gates, 3 gates leading to hell. Anger is one of them. So we have to be careful of anger. This is what Swami Prabhupada is telling Dhruva Maharaj. He's instructing us through Dhruva Maharaj that we have to be very, very careful of anger. We should give up if we can. If you can't give up anger, you cannot make any progress in spiritual life. See? And that we are not controllers. Dhruva Maharaj is not the supreme controller, so he should not take it upon himself to annihilate the whole Yaksharis. So material differentiation is due to bodily concept of life. Rather, we should see ourselves as eternal souls who are part and parcel of God. And everybody is facing a situation because of his karma. Because of his karma, because of our individual karma. We are all located in different places. We are all carrying different kinds of consciousness. Therefore, we should act accordingly, not as the supreme controller. It is the Lord that controls. It is the supreme controller, not us. So this is the kind of advice that you see. Yes, any other points you want to draw attention to at this point before we go to the rest? As devotees, we should overcome our anger, that national propensity to overreact on things. We should act with tolerance, compassion, equanimity. See. In spiritual vision, as opposed to material concepts, in spiritual vision, we see every soul as part and parcel of Krishna. Every soul is part and parcel of God. And soul is by nature eternal. So a self-realized soul, it sees that equality, that we are all souls. And all souls have one occupation, to serve the Lord. And therefore, if we are conducted by a spiritual vision, or if our vision has evolved to spiritual vision, we no longer see differentiations, material differentiations. We see the material body only as the result of our karmic reaction. And we have to act according to that body in that particular lifetime. But we are souls. Soul never dies. And the material body is operating under the influence of, it's being operated under the influence of material nature, which is also acting under the control of Krishna. So let us know our positions and act accordingly. This is the whole idea. So I say my phone is fighting me. Any more points on this? Otherwise, we will go ahead to the next verse. I'm very sorry that my phone is fighting me so much, so much. Where I'm reading from is just clicking and going off and clicking other things. I'm always just looking, my head is down, looking for how to come back to the page. So, forgive me. Okay. I think that is 29 we read. Oh, thank God. So when we read from that Brahman Buddha verse in the purport, that a devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of the outward body. He sees all living entities as spirit souls, eternal servants of God. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see with that vision. Okay? To see with equal vision. That equal vision is we are all spirit souls, eternal servants of God. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon other living entities with ordinary vision. The ordinary vision, according to how Yaduna Prabhu put it, is lower than even material vision. It's even lower than material vision. It has no definition. So indirectly, man, Krishna, as I'm reading, the thing has clicked itself and it has gone on. Oh, Krishna's King Bhagavan Swaya. If the material work, forgive me. So, okay, in order not to waste the time so much, let us know that there are truly three kinds of vision. There is material vision, there is ordinary vision, and there is spiritual vision. And we are expected to act with spiritual vision. And by the grace of Dhruva Maharaj, Swayambhuva Manu is explaining this to us. And Srila Prabhupada is also explaining what very elaborately. When you act with material vision, you create enmity and friendship, and you cause a lot of problems, not only for yourself, but for everyone. It can escalate into war. All the wars you are seeing, Iran, America, is due to this kind of material vision. And the end is devastation, more devastation, and there is nothing to gain. Because America or Iran, everybody wants to prove himself as the supreme controller, whereas nobody here is the supreme controller. If you are a supreme controller, then you should be able to control the influence of time. Then you are a supreme controller. But as long as you are being controlled by time, you are not the supreme controller. This we should understand properly and act according to our levels. So Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see with that vision. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon their other living entities with ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu pointed out to Dhruva Maharaj that out of material affection, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin and the Yakshas as his enemies. Such observation of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in his original position as an eternal servant of the Lord. So replace material vision with spiritual vision and things will be okay for everyone. Okay, verse 30.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tvam pratyagatsmani tada bhagavatananta ananda mantra upapana samasta shaktao bhaktim vidaya paramamsa nakaima vidya gratim vidbhesya simaham iti parudham. Translation. Thus regaining your natural position and rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, who is the all-powerful reservoir of all pleasure and who lives in all living entities as a super soul, you will very soon forget the illusory understanding of I and mine. Purport. The Maharaj was already a liberated person because at the age of 5 years, he had seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even though liberated, he was for the time being afflicted by the illusion of Maya, thinking himself the brother of Uttama in the bodily concept of life. The whole material world is working on the basis of I and mine. This is the root of attraction to the material world. If one is attracted by this root of illusory conceptions, I and mine, he will have to remain within this material world in different exalted or nasty positions. By the grace of Lord Krishna, the sages and Lord Manu reminded Dhruva Maharaj that he should not continue this material conception of I and mine. Simply by devotional service unto the Lord, his illusion could be eradicated without difficulty. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The whole material world is working on the basis of I and mine. And this is the root of attraction to the material world. If one is attracted by this root of illusory conception, I am mine, he will have to remain within this material world in different exalted or nasty positions. And by the grace of the Lord Krishna, the sages and Lord Man reminded Dhruva Maharaj that he should not continue this material conception of I am mine. That means it is false ego. False ego is the train of false ego is riding on two tracks. One of the track is I, and the other track is mine. In Sanskrit, they are called ahanta and mamata. The train of false ego is riding on two tracks, ahanta and mamata. Ahanta and mamata, ahanta and mamata, ahanta and mamata. I am mine, I am mine. And by extension, everything in this material world is a product of that. So that's why it is difficult to give up false ego. False ego is very subtle, very, very subtle. But one cannot make complete spiritual progress unless it gives up or it purifies his ego from being false to true. And the formula for transforming false ego to true ego is very simple. It's simply by putting Krishna in the center of all activities and acting for his pleasure. That is where purification takes place. So this process of positive devotional engagement is the solution. And this positive devotional engagement begins by hearing and chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And that is why we say the medicine for all the sick material, the medicine to cure the sickness of material existence, which is the forgetfulness of Krishna, is the constant chanting and hearing of the holy names and pastimes and activities of the Lord. This is the solution. So Swayambhuva Manu and the great rishis are reminding us through Dhruva Maharaj that yes, we have to give up this contamination of ahanta and mamata. I am mine. I am the Lord of all that I survey. Everything I've gathered around my physical body is mine. All the things that I have within my control, they are mine. I am the controller, and everything that I survey is mine. Everything around me is mine. I am mine. I am mine. But don't you know that it's mine? You destroy my car. Mine. There is conflict. So this whole material world is conducted by this Ahanta and Mamata, I and mine. And that is called false ego. So to advance in spiritual life, we have to give us false ego. False ego means removing ourselves from the center because the center actually belongs to God and putting Him there and working towards pleasing Him. And that is the formula. The pleasure of the Lord remains the almighty solution to all problems. So this is what Rambuva Manu is helping us to realize. So, Ruba Maharaj, rise above this bodily concept of life. Transfer yourself to spiritual concepts. You are a spirit soul, we are all eternal spirit souls. Somebody is a friend today, somebody is an enemy tomorrow based on the aggregate of his karma. So take it easy, act with higher intelligence, act with self-realization. Okay, Ruba Maharaj is a pure devotee and is acting under this influence also to tell us that if Dhruva Maharaj can be influenced like this, how much more we who are still struggling with our senses. See, we have a long way to go. So we should become humble and try to do devotional service in a proper attitude. It's another advice. Okay, the next verse, please.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Samyecharosham bhadram te pratipam shreyasham param shruten bhuyasa rajan agadena yathamayam. Translation: My dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as a medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. Purport: Dhruv Maharaj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone. But because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the yakshas. It was the duty of Dhruva Maharaj to kill the offender, life for life. Because Dhruva was the king, when the challenge came, Dhruva Maharaj fought vehemently and punished the yakshas sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increases it, it increases unlimitedly. In order that Dhruva Maharaj's kingly anger not exceed the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather and they immediately stopped the fighting. The words Shrutena Bhuyesha by constantly hearing are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental, detrimental to the process of devotional service. Srila Parikshit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastime of the Lord is the penances of all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium, and thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Dhruv Maharaj become angry with miscreants was quite appropriate. There is a short story in this connection about a snake who became a devotee upon instruction by Narad, who instructed him not to bite anymore, since ordinarily a snake business is to fatally bite other living entities. As a devotee, he was forbidden to do so. Unfortunately, people took advantage of this non-violence on the part of the snake, especially the children, who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite anyone. However, because it was the instruction of his spiritual master, after a while, when a snake met his spiritual master Narada, he complained, I have given up the bad habit of biting innocent living entities, but they are mistreating me by throwing stone at me. Upon hearing this, Narad Muni instructed him, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you were going to bite. Then they will go always. Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is a mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that is it. That in actuality, Dhruva Maharaj was acting as a king. It is the duty of the king to protect his citizen, and therefore his killing of the Yaksha was not condemned. But he went too far. That anger is like a fire. When you add more fuel, it will simply increase. So he went beyond the boundary. But initially, that tendency for a king to punish offender is natural because it's part of his duty. So we should not be quick to conclude that Juba Maharaj was just angry and he killed unnecessarily. But he was influenced by the higher energy to continue with that. We are not in support of unnecessary anger. Anger should be measured. There should be a limit. And we should act according to the limit. Anybody can be carried away if he already becomes angry. And so that is it. But the most important point I can see from here is that the glorification of the Lord is the medicine for all diseases. This is the point that is being stressed here. Scrutina Huyasa, by constantly hearing, that by constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger. So this is the solution. This is how to check the force of anger. Otherwise, anger itself is very, very subtle and very powerful. But you can check anger by constant glorification of the Lord. And this is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 1, verse 4. 10th canto, chapter 1, verse 4. It is a formula that is given. The medicine for all problems is constant glorification of the Lord. Every tatasai upagiyamana baba ushada chotra manu abhiramat kautamas loka gunanuvadat umam virajeta bina basuna. What does that mean? That means glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Paramparam system. That is, it is conveyed from spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those who are no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? So this is the formula for checking the force of anger: constant glorification of the Lord. Constant glorification of the Lord. This is the formula. Otherwise, ordinarily, anger is very, very difficult to check because it is very, very subtle. But this formula is given. So let us all take shelter of this formula. By constant hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the person. It's not just detrimental, but it is one of the most detrimental forces against devotional service. Anger. It has so many children. Anger has so many children manifesting through our consciousness and through our senses. And we don't even know. See, it is when we are challenged by circumstances that we know whether we are carrying anger inside us. Anger is hiding inside us, hiding inside our intelligence, hiding inside our mind, hiding inside our senses. So we have to be really careful to take shelter. And we need the mercy of the spiritual master, the mercy of other devotees, the mercy of this man backward, and the mercy of the holy name, the mercy of the nine processes of Bhakti, in order to be able to take proper shelter or apply this formula. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of God constantly. And when we say a devotee is compassionate, there are 4 regulating principles. And mercy or compassion is one of the 4 pillars of religion. And there is one principle that breaks one of the regulating principles that break that leg of religion. And that principle is no eating of meat, fish, or egg, animal killing. It is that leg that breaks. It is that activity that breaks the leg of religion called mercy and compassion. And we say, okay, thou shalt not kill, don't eat meat, fish, or egg. But then, this is the negative aspect. There are positive activities we should do, as a matter of practicing this compassion. Positive activities. Avoid the negative, do the positive. So the corresponding positive activity we should do to exhibit compassion, to exhibit mercy, is by giving Krishna to others. Is by letting others know about Krishna. So participation in activities like Harinam Sankirtan, any book distribution activity, any chanting of the holy name is a direct practice of compassion and mercy. In fact, it's the maturity of compassion and mercy in action. You see? So whenever we have opportunity to practice these activities to give Krishna to others, we should take it very, very seriously because it is a platform for practicing compassion and mercy. Compassion and mercy. How much are we really interested in giving Krishna to others? That is a measure of compassion. How much are we really interested in giving Krishna to others? How much are we ready to facilitate Harinam Sankirtan activities? We say we are not eating meat. Okay, that is okay. But how do you practice mercy and compassion positively? And we are saying that giving Krishna to others is the most potent form of practicing compassion, and mercy. And that's why the spiritual masters who are greatly compassionate, they are very absorbed. They facilitate such activities. They facilitate such activities, Harinam Sankirtan activity. They facilitate. They arrange for books. They provide buses for Harinam Sankirtan. They encourage devotees with all the facilities that they need to give Krishna to others. That means they are very, very compassionate and they are very, very merciful. So please let us put this into practice as much as possible. Any opportunity for us to give Krishna to others, let us take advantage of it. It is the ultimate thing. Lord Chaitanya was not involved in so many things. His focus was on this extreme compassion in action through Harinam Sankirtan, doing programs, preaching programs, giving Krishna name to everybody, including the animals. Anybody that hears the holy names benefit from it. So a devotee who is dedicated to doing this, he has understood the essence of this particular injunction. No killing of animal, fish or egg, no eating of animal, fish or egg. On one hand, he doesn't eat them. On the other hand, he's giving Krishna to others. So your practice of mercy and compassion is incomplete when you are not absorbed in programs of giving Krishna to others. You can give Krishna to others. You can participate directly yourself, but you can also participate indirectly by facilitating those who are doing it. Understand? If you are able to sponsor some books to support the preachings, do it. If you can facilitate, you can buy fuel for the bus to go for Harinam Sankirtan, do it. If you can provide a bus, do it. We can see this being exemplified by all our gurus, most especially His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj is very, very compassionate and merciful. And by that, he's always facilitating Harinam Sankirtan activities. Nobody needs to tell you who is merciful and who is not merciful. He's constantly facilitating Harinam Sankirtan activities. He provided a bus for Nigeria. He provided a bus for Kumasi, Ghana. He had provided 2 buses for Accra before. 2 buses he had provided for Accra before. And I think by Krishna's mercy, he'll be planning to provide another one for Accra. And he's constantly arranging for books to come to Africa. So these are the activities of people who are very, very compassionate and merciful. Constant glorification of the holy name of the Lord. The Britata Sai Upagi Yamana. Promote the activities of Uttama Sloka by arranging for conditioned souls to hear about Krishna. And we should absorb ourselves as much as possible. These activities, old age is not a barrier. As long as you can walk, you can participate in Harinam Sankirtan. As long as you can open your mouth, you can eat, you can participate in these activities. If you cannot dance vigorously, just raise your hand like this. And that's why the Soviet cultural Maharaj, for instance, always on Harinam Sankirtan. Don't let beat his Bhakti Swami Maharaj. It's always on Harinam Sankirtan. They facilitate these activities, get personally involved, participate in marathon, arrange for books. So we should put these things into practice in our own capacity. In our own capacity. Okay? And those who are doing it, Krishna understand, bless them, so they can continue to do it. So constant glorification is the most effective way for checking anger. Okay, having said all that, Let us read the next verse. Unless you have addition, somebody wants to add to this. But this particular purport is very rich also. I'm unable to address every component of it, but somebody can pick up something. This is the formula for checking anger is given here. My phone is fighting me like a demon. Oh, Krishna. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Parishit Maharaj, I want to read something for the pleasure of the Lord and the devotees. Why are you with the misery energy fighting me? Trying to disconnect me from what I'm reading. Srila Parishit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the past signs of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. Panacea means the cure for all material diseases. And this is what is being quoted as Nivritata Sai Bhagiyamanas. Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 1, verse 4. And second stanza of the translation make it clear that description of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned souls undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher, one who have killed his own enlightened self-interest? Is the only person who will not be interested in such activities. So hearing and chanting of the holy name, these are the ultimate activities of the devotee. And we should absorb ourselves in this. To the degree we absorb ourselves in this, to that degree we'll be able to check the force of anger. Okay. Then the example of the snake is given here, that there's a story in this connection about the snake who became a devotee. Oh, Krishna, allow me to read this thing. People are not preaching for us. Somebody can just facilitate, say, hey, Chaitanya Prabhu, you lost your computers in December.
Oh,
And
Krishna is now holding your hand from reading, Prabhu. Why are you calling Krishna that he should allow you to read? Krishna is not holding your hand. It's your app that is your phone that is disturbing you.
that is true. But that is why exactly why somebody who is very compassionate will immediately come out. Okay, I will give you a phone. Then you just arrange for a phone. And also, for instance, my laptop got crashed since December. Since December, I'm telling you, December to now, I've not gotten a laptop. And this is what I use for my PowerPoints and everything presentation. And I'm fighting. The Lord is observing, just watching me struggling like this. And my phone is fighting also. Then where are these compassionate devotees? Where is your compassion? Where is your mercy? When you cannot facilitate this struggling servant of the Lord. Where is your mercy? The opportunity for you to practice it now. You are holding yourself back. Even those who are in Philippines can practice it very easily. From there, you just extend your hands. Anyway, that is about that.
After Third World War, we buy your laptop. After Third World War, we buy your laptop.
Oh, so you want me to be eliminated by the force of anger first? Where is your compassion? Oh, Yaduna.
No, the war is disturbing us for now. So when everything balance, they will do something.
Oh, but that will be too late. It's now that we need to put this into practice.
Oh, Prabhu Chaitanya Prema, a Brahmana is promising you, instead of you to accept and say, okay, I will ask you after the war, and you are trying to dodge the thing with the blessing that is coming for you. Now, wow.
I want the blessing to come now. No delay. Jacob Kanapuraji, can you help us to explain the snake example? Yeah.
Yeah, we have read that snake example many times now from Narada Muni and the snake who became a disciple of Narada Muni.
Yeah.
Is it not that
But
one?
we need to hear it again. It's in the purport. We need to hear it again.
Yeah, the natural nature of a snake is to bite. So that is his nature. But when he was preached to by Narada, he became a pure devotee. So he was not biting again. So the children started using him for football, kicking him here and there like that. So he complained to his guru. And the guru told him that I didn't tell you to become a stupid. You are a snake. Everybody know you. They know you to be a snake. So when they come around you, you should raise your hood, but don't bite. Means that our nature can be useful for anything. Some people, their nature, they are very Kshatric in nature. Some people are Brahmanic in nature. Some people are Vaishya in nature. Use your nature for Krishna. You see, like that.
Very good. So we should use our nature for Krishna. We should use our nature for Krishna. So nobody should condemn himself for whatever he has. He can dovetail that nature. And
People will think you are stupid. Because in your nature is when you have the strength. Your nature is where you have your strength. So if you don't use your nature for Krishna, people will think that you are stupid.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so that is it. Don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away. Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the discourse. So that's why we say sometimes the scriptures give the principles, but the spiritual master teaches us how to apply these principles according to time, place, and circumstances. Therefore, the spiritual master is the living link between us and the scripture and Krishna. So the position of the spiritual master is very, very important. It's the living link. Therefore, it teaches us how to apply the principles, when to apply it situationally. The spiritual master teaches us. That's why when we get confused, we immediately ask the spiritual master for guidance, for blessings, and for yeah. So that is it. It's very, very important. So we should value our spiritual masters, value them very seriously, and whatever important thing we want to do, any important thing we want to do, we should first seek for the permission, guidance, and blessings from our spiritual master. If we do so, if the spiritual master knows our when about, our where about, and what about, then whatever we want to do, once we get the blessings, permission, and guidance from the spiritual master, it becomes spiritual. It becomes transferred to the spiritual umbrella. we are properly aligned with the Paramparam. That's what it means. Then the Param Shakti will empower everything we want to relate to. So this is the formula. Ignoring it means you are on your own. So whatever we want to do, whatever major decision we are taking, we should submit it to the approval, guidance, and blessings of the spiritual master. Very, very important. If we cannot have direct access to the spiritual master, we should get the permission and guidance from some immediate senior devotees around us. But most practically, it's the spiritual master, either your Shiksha Guru or your Diksha Guru. In that way, the activity becomes protected, blessed. Okay. Yes. Can we go to the next verse? Because the snake is that when he got confused, he had to submit himself to Narada Muni for guidance. Look at what is happening. You have told me not to bite, but look at what they are doing to us. I'm confused. What should I do? If left for me alone, I will start biting. Oh. Then immediately the spiritual master said, look. I know what you are feeling. But what you do is that you are a snake. So open your mouth as if you want to bite. Raise your head as if you want to bite. Then they will just give you the distance, required distance. So with that guidance, with that permission, then he started raising his hand, and truly they gave him the distance. So similarly, whatever we want to do, any major activity we want to do in our spiritual life, we should submit it to the guidance, to the blessing and approval of our immediate superiors. That's how to utilize this opportunity of getting gurus. So let's take advantage of it, and we can act properly and in proper alignment with the Guru Parampara. Lord Brahma will be on your side, Narada Muni will be on your side, the four Kumaras will be on your side, Prahlad Maharaj will be on your side, Bali Maharaj will be on your side, and Narada will be there, and Lord Shiva, Yamaraj, all will be on your side. And all the great Vaishnavas, Acharyas you are hearing, all will be on your side. Then the current Vaishnavas also, who are non-envious, they will all be on your side. Then whatever activity you do becomes spiritual activity, full of blessing. Hare Krishna. So can we go to the next verse, please? Or any more questions or additional points you want us to take on from this verse? Otherwise, we go to the next verse. Where is the next verse, please? What is the next verse? My dear King, just consider what I've said.
32.
32.
Yes, please.
32. Okay, somebody should read.
Geneta Purusha Loka Uji Jate Visam Na Budeta Vata Gasat Isha Mabayam Atmana. Translation: a person who desires blessing from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for all others. Support: a devotee or sensible person should not be dreadful to others or to should anyone be a source of dread to him? If one treats others with non-nominality, then no one will become his enemy. There is this example, however, of Jesus Christ, who has enemies, and they crucify him. The demonic are always present, and they find fault, even in saintly person. But a saintly person never becomes angry, even if there is very great provocation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, what do you understand by this in the purport, the first sentence in the purport? A devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be a source of dread to him. How do you understand this?
Yes, that's why I give example as concerning Jesus Christ upon what is taught us concerning the crucifying. But still the crucifixion, it still bless them. It still Lord forgive them. So as a devotee, we have been told that when so many blessings are coming, you have to be tolerant and then move ahead. I think that is the best way for a devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, can somebody add something to this explanation? I saw that Chitraketu was not participating, and I was thinking it would disappear, and truly it had disappeared. Okay, so please add to this explanation that has been given by Tamal Krishna Prabhu. Or how do you understand it when you say if someone treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy? How do you understand that? I will call your name. Oh. If you are not volunteering, I will call you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you have given your explanation first. So,
Okay.
yes, we want others to. Salika Prabhu. Salika Prabhu, we want to hear your voice. We are in verse 32 and we have 2 more verses, 3 more verses. So let's hear your voice. How do you explain this? If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, I don't have any explanation, but what I can hear is law of karma. If one treats nobody with no enmity, but there are deeper meaning in that, and I'm not able to process it yet, because even when it's not inimical to someone, sometimes people can become inimical towards him. So, trying to understand what Prabhupada is trying to explain there.
And the example of Jesus Christ is also given there. to that effect. He had no enemy, but people took him as enemy. And that the demoniac are always present. And they find faults even in saintly persons. But a saintly person never becomes angry, even if there is very great provocation. See, so unless you are you are an Uttamadikari, to function on this platform practically is very, very difficult. Unless one is an Uttamadikari. They are Kenny Narida Stakuri in how many marketplaces? Will you and me agree for them to kill me in all those marketplaces? I will try to escape, run away and jump into the sea and swim. So anyway, it is very easy to say, but very, very difficult to practice unless one is truly surrendered, like Aridas Thakur. And for such surrendered souls, the Lord Himself personally take charge. Personally take charge. Or for Ambaris to remain quiet. When Dhruvasamuni, you see Dhruvasamuni create the demon, that the demon is advancing towards him to consume him, then he remain quiet and completely just surrender. It's not easy thing. This is only Uttama Adhikari can practice this. If you have not arrived at the level of Uttama Adhikari, the natural tendency is to try to protect yourself as much as possible, try to avoid all the avoidables, if possible, run and all those things. But the pure devotees, Jesus Christ, they carried him, beat him, go and crucify him on the cross. It's not easy for anyone to practice, except for very powerful Mahabhagavats. So that's why we read the translator. A person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for all others. So we should try to control anger. We should continue to try and still beg for divine intervention so that we can be covered by the grace of the Lord. Any shortcoming we have. Because to say, yes, I truly desire freedom from this material world is not an easy claim. Desire freedom from this material world. Whoever is the instrument to liberate me from the material world, I will take it as the Lord's mercy. It's not an easy posture. The pure devotees, the Mahabhagavats, they take that posture, and whatever happens, even though they are beaten in 21 marketplaces, they see it as transcendental and the Lord's wish. When will that day come? Kabe abe bolo, sedina mara. Kabe abe bolo, sedina mara. When will that day come? Oh, when will that day be mine? So anyway, wherever we have the determination to become pure devotees, and that determination will attract divine intervention, and eventually will become. Maharaj's example is very appropriate for us. Next verse. Elanam girisa bratu dana dasya tvaya kritam ya jagnivam punya janam bratri grinam iti amarsita. My dear Durba, you thought that the Yakshas killed your brother and therefore you have killed great numbers of them. But by this action, you have agitated the minds of Lord Shiva's brother, Kuvera, who is the treasurer of the demigods. Please know that your actions have been very disrespectful to Kuvera and Lord Shiva. Purport. Lord Manu stated that Dhruva Maharaj had been offensive to Lord Shiva and his brother Kuvera because the Yakshas belonged to Kuvera's family. They were not ordinary persons. As such, they have been described as Punya Janam, pious men. Somehow or other, the mind of Kuvera had been agitated, and Dhruva Maharaj was advised to pacify him. This is why it is good to get a good fathers and grandfathers and spiritual fathers. On your own, you will not know when you are actually going beyond boundaries. But if you have honest God brothers and senior vice Vaishnavas around you or gurus, they can easily draw your attention. It is true that this person offends you, but you are overreacting. They can draw your attention. For me, I'm a victim to this many times. I can overreact. In many things. But someone always tells me that, yes, but you are overreacting somehow or the other. Then I calm down. If wants to become angry, it's very easy to cross the boundary. Very easy. And that is why it is good to live in the association of devotees who can observe your activities also and who will be able to advise you accordingly without any bias, even though you are their friend. So a true friend is he who tells you when you are going beyond certain boundaries. A true friend. Friendship is not something always sentimental. A true friend is one who can tell you that, oh, truly they wrong you like this, but you are going too far. Stop. You see? So we should count ourselves fortunate if we have people like that who can help to check our excesses. And in that way, we can go far and purify our ego easily and attain the desired goal. Especially as men, especially when working with others. Because I learned that the greatest way, the best way to purify a man's ego is by working with others. When you learn the art and science of working with others cooperatively, then your ego will become purified because everybody has his individuality, he has his own way of doing things. But if you can check your own excesses and try to accommodate others' differences while acting, then you can easily, your ego can become purified in the association of others. So acting in the association of others, acting cooperatively, the Prabhupada said, you show your love to me by how much you cooperate together when I'm gone. So how to cooperate, the Prabhupada used that word cooperate because he knows that there are individual differences. And unless we tolerate ourselves, we meet ourselves with tolerance, patience, equanimity of mind, mercy, and compassion, we cannot. So it is very important that we learn how to live with other devotees. Learn how to live with other devotees. Not something somebody who will cover you sentimentally, you do something wrong, he cannot tell you because it's your friend. No. A true friend will tell you that, Prabhu, I didn't talk to you openly, but what you did, actually, you went too far. Somebody should be able to tell you. Maybe how he will tell you will make the difference. But if you have people who can draw your attention to your excesses, you are very fortunate. So Dhruva Maharaj was so fortunate that Swayambhuva Manu draw his attention to his excesses and point out the consequences, because any activity you do affect others also. So he said, look, these yakshas are descendants of Kuvera. And by all this killing, you are thinking you are reacting, trying to prove your own right. You are offending Kuvera. You have offended Kuvera and Lord Shiva. You have offended Kuvera and Lord Shiva. So find way to pacify them. Don't think you do anything and you go free by you are proving your right. No. You should learn how to be humble. You should be ready to be humble. Recognize others and what they can do. Then conduct yourself accordingly. So he said, find way to pacify. Dhruva Maharaj was not even thinking of Kuvera. He was overwhelmed by anger, so he was not even thinking of Kuvera or Lord Shiva. He was just thinking that he was dealing with yakshas. But by our actions, we offend others without knowing. But fortunate is he who has somebody to draw his attention to that. And here is the case. Swayambhuva Manu is there to draw the attention of Dhruva Maharaj to these kind of consequences. And he advised him accordingly. And Dhruva Maharaj, to show that he has sincerely accepted what was given, then his action will come. And let us see what happened next. Tam prasadaya vatsasu sanatya prasayo tibi nayava mahatam teja kulamno abibavis yati. For this reason, my son, you should immediately pacify Kuvera with gentle words and prayers, and thus this wrath may not affect our family. See, Swayambhuva Manu is thinking of the overall relationship. The action of one child, one angry child, affects the long-standing relationship between families. So to protect the such consequences, he is telling him what to do. Go and pacify. Find way to immediately pacify Kuvera by gentle words and prayers, and thus his wrath may not affect our family. In our common dealings, we should maintain friendship with everyone, and certainly with such exalted demigods as Kuvera. Our behavior should be such that no one should become angry and thereby commit a wrong to individuals, families, or societies. Our behavior should be such that no one should become angry and thereby commit a wrong to individuals, families, or societies. So yes, even in course of trying to prove our rights, we have to be very, very careful to not act in a way that we create enmity with all the people connected to the people we are dealing with. Because every life is sacred. Every life is sacred. And just as you want to be respected, others want to be respected. You may have a lot of power, you may have a lot of potencies. Others also have potencies, others also have powers. And there are powers others may have that you don't have, but you don't know that they have it. So if you are intoxicated by your own powers and positions and the desire to control, to take revenge for actions against you, you might offend these other powerful persons without knowing. And just as you are reacting, they will not be wrong to also react to. And if they react, you will be affected. You will see your weaknesses. And you will cause a whole set of confusion to your own entire family. So we have to be very, very careful to know our boundaries and not to overreact, and to know when to stop and to consider others as human beings when acting. Also to know our position that we are also not perfect. So just as we can also make mistakes, others can also make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we should listen to advice. When people are advising us, we should listen to the advice and implement any direction given. Because those who are not angry, their vision is more clear than you who is angry. And they will prefer a non-biased solution. So go and pacify Kubera. When we offend people, we should not think we can go free because we also devotees and charity, therefore nobody can do anything. No, don't be idealistic. Everybody matters. The respect you want to be given by others, we should also try to give that same respect to others. If we do that, if we act with caution and restraint and meet others with patience, meet others with tolerance, meet others with equanimity, then of course we are acting as friends, and the result will always be better for us. So this is the advice given by Uvera and the advice given by Swayambhuva Manu, and Dhruva Maharaj accepted it. He accepted it in good faith, and he did as he was directed. So in the next verse we'll see. Evam Swayambhuva Putram Anusasya Manu Dhruvam Tenabi Bandita Sakam Risibi Swapuram Yayo. Thus Swayambhuva Manu, after giving instruction to Dhruva Maharaj, his grandson, received respectful obeisances from him. Then Lord Manu and the great sages went back to their respective homes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Swayambhuva Manu Advises Dhruva Maharaj. So this is the situation. I want to thank you very much. We learned a lot from this. And in the next verse, in the next chapter, we see Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Manu. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. That is chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. So at this point, when Dhruva Maharaj accepted the advice of Swayambhuva Manu, what happens next is like a miracle. And we can see that Kubera actually acted with tolerance, with mercy, with friendship, with equanimity. All those qualities of a devotee, Kubera was decorated with those qualities. And he acted exactly how a devotee should act. And he also appeared before Dhruva Maharaj immediately. Yes. He had the news. He had the news that Dhruva Maharaj had stopped the killing of the Yakshas, taking to the advice of Swayambhuva Manu. So he became very pleased, because what makes a devotee is when he listens to advice from others and try to act with humility accordingly. And Dhruva Maharaj has done this. The moment he started acting as a devotee, one who listens to others and who also act with restraint and who take responsibility for his action, immediately Kubera also become pleased with him. So he appeared before him. He appeared before him. Because, yes, he appeared before him. And when he appeared before him, what did the Dhruva Maharaj do? Yes, what did he do? He worshipped Kubera with folded hand. He offered prayers to him. He shown him repentant heart. He registered before Kubera that yes, the news he had is true. He has repented. He feels sorry for his action. He has overreacted, and he is begging for his pardon, glorifying him, and taking responsibility for his action. And as soon as he did that, immediately Kuvera also responded by making him feel that he has not done wrong, actually. That all the philosophies Swayambhuva Manu was telling him, giving him, was right. That he was not the one who killed the Yakshas. He actually acted, under the influence of material nature. And material nature is being controlled by Satan. So he has not done anything wrong. He has only acted as an instrument. So he forgave him. He's happy with him for acting as a deputy, for stopping the fights, for knowing that other lives also matter, like his son and his brothers. All lives are sacred, for acting like that. And he pacified him. And that misidentification of oneself and others as I and you and I, on the basis of the bodily concept of life, is a product of ignorance. And this bodily concept is the cause of repeated birth and death. And it takes us, continuously. He was able to accept and make Dhruva feel not guilty too much. He appeared to be guilty as he has a guilty conscience now. They didn't want him to go deeper into guilt. So he pacified me. Oh, no. Don't worry, you are not actually the killer of the Yakshas. They were killed by providence. And you are just an instrument. So you feel calm. You are a Kshatriya after all. He pacified him. But then he used the opportunity to also confirm the philosophy given by Swayambhuva Manu. Yes, actions on the bodily platform truly produce change of reactions. So we should act with equanimity of mind, nevertheless. So from there, he took it up. He registered, he didn't chastise him anymore. He only confirmed the philosophy that Swayambhuva Manu said. After all, we are brothers. We are not the supreme controller. Krishna is the supreme controller. So we should remove ourselves from the center and act with true ego. Now let us give up false ego. False ego is the greatest enemy on the path of spiritual life. So in this way, Kuvera pacified him, and he also accepted that all the activities he did next were in preparation for going back home back to Godhead. And finally, he went back home back to Godhead. This is evidence in the next chapter 12. So chapter 12 is entitled Dhruva Maharaj going back to Godhead. And tomorrow, I will consult with Kavi to confirm, because we have done 2 chapters on his behalf, and he is supposed to continue, because myself, I have my chapters, I have my units waiting for me. The story of King Puranjana is waiting for me. And after Kavi Kanapura, His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj is supposed to take the next unit, Pritu Maharaj, part 1. And I will contact Kavi to see if he can continue from tomorrow with the new chapter. And then we thank you very much for your kind cooperation and for your flexibility to tolerate me and the management. We thank you very much for your consistency also. His Grace Jyotiswarup Prabhu, His Great Sanika Prabhu, His Great Yadnath Prabhu, His Great Chitraketu Prabhu, and we feel the absence of Rasavan. I don't know whether the devotees are reaching to him. Let us all try to reach out to him again to see what is happening. And if he's offended by some things, maybe we'll see how to apologize to him. Don't give up the Sanskrit studies with us, maybe because of offenses against him. Okay, thank you very much. If there are some questions or commentaries, we can just round it up now. I think time is fast spent now. Oh, we have gone far beyond the time. Oh, it's 7 to 9. No, we still have 7 minutes. We still have 7 minutes. So, Chitraketu Putra Prabhu. Chitraketu Putra Prabhu, are you there? Or your presence is simply diplomatic from the beginning till now? Okay. Chitraketu Prabhu's presence is diplomatic presence. In all day, but he appeared today. Are you putting us in illusion? Or you are attempting to put us in illusion? By the grace of the Lord, we will not be in illusion. We see things clearly. Okay, no problem. Anyhow, let us see tomorrow. Between now and tomorrow, we'll sort it out. I will sort it out with Kapura for him to come and continue. Hare Krishna. It's confounded chariots like it's. Oh, okay, no. Please, if there are some concluding commentaries on this point, we still have a few minutes. Some capsule, what do we take home from this chapter? Each person will tell us one thing that we take home from this chapter. One thing, one capsule for us to take home from this chapter. From this chapter of Swayambhuva Manu instructing Dhruva Maharaj, what capsule should we take home? Give us one capsule to take home. What have we learned from this chapter? One thing, one lesson that we have learned from this chapter. Please share with us so that we can take it home. The sooner you come on board, the better, so that we can utilize the remaining 5 minutes we have.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Yeah, personally, I've been meditating on it that actually to be angry is very easy, especially in our present situation in the world today. Even sometimes among devotees and so on. But one of the things I'm meditating on, because towards the ending of this discussion, the emphasis is there. One should not become angry. No. The whole world can choose to be your enemy, but you can choose not to be anybody's enemy. And in that way, you'll not have any enemy. And you'll be happy. And everybody is searching for happiness. Everybody wants to be happy. Our scripture said that the soul is pleasure-seeking by nature. So the quality of Yudhishthira, which is Ajanta Shastro, one whose enemy is never born. Personally, I'm meditating on see how I can imbibe that quality, because this chapter also emphasizes on it.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. These are positive things we should meditate on. These stories are not there for us to just read and pass exams, but we are expected to learn something from there, something that we can also implement in our devotional journey. So, how not to be in enmity with anyone is very, very important. It should be one of the major targets or focus of a devotee. A devotee should not keep enmity with anyone, because if we don't keep enmity, we also not attract enemies. It is what we project that will also come back to us. So if we are having some people as enemies in our mind, there is a sign that we are not actually progressing in our devotion. We are stopped. But when you develop that marginal propensity to not be in enmity with anyone, when you start desiring it, that means your progress has started taking place. And we say one of the symptoms that okay, we say if we align ourselves properly with ISKCON principles, wanting to act for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada by reading his book, studying, distributing the books, by regularly attending lectures, by chanting our rounds, by taking only prashadam, by acting according to the regulative principles, by becoming exemplary, we will definitely attract abundant blessings from our spiritual master. And the symptom that we have attracted abundant blessings from our spiritual master is that we will develop more taste in devotional service. Our taste for devotional activities will intensify. We will become more friendly with other devotees. We will appreciate other Vaishnavas more. We appreciate the association of the Vaishnavas more. And we develop more affinity for hearing Krishna Katha, Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. We develop attachment for hearing and letting others know about Krishna, connecting people to Krishna. So, desiring to become free from enmity with other devotees is fundamental, is key. And if we are desiring like that, we know that we are attracting the intervention, the blessings of the entire Paramparam. And very soon. But that is all what they want from us also, so that we can live cooperatively in the service of the Lord. So it's a very powerful capsule to take home. Thank you very much. Yes. Somebody has to give us one capsule to take home from all these big chapter of 35 verses. If you are not coming out voluntarily, I will start calling names now. Chitraketu Putra Prabhu. I give you the benefit of doubt that you are still there. So I therefore ask you, give us a capsule to take home. His Grace Yaduna Prabhu has given us one powerful capsule. You want to meditate on not keeping any enmity with anybody. And Krishna will fulfill that desire. Me too, I desire like that. What is the use of being in enmity with anybody when we ourselves, we are not perfect? We are making mistakes also. So why should we try to kill others for little mistake they make? After all, a black spot on the moon does not defy the moon from diffusing its energy. A moon continues to diffuse its energy at night, nourishing all the vegetation, despite any black spot on it. So a black spot on a devotee, the moon of the devotee does not defy the devotee. So if somehow or the other the devotee is guilty of certain things, it's, as long as he remains on the tree, he will become right. So let us tolerate ourselves for some little shortcomings and see how we can help each other, one another grow beyond it to overcome our challenges. Chitra Prabhu, it is evident that actually you are not there. So Jyoti Swarup Prabhu, give us one capsule so that we can swallow it fast. What did you take away from this entire chapter? I know you have taken many things, but at least just share one with us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, with today's topic, we can take home like we should not make enemies with anyone, so that nobody will think about us also as an enemy. Because as Yadunath Prabhu just mentioned earlier, it reminds me a slok of Bhagavad Gita 2.47, which says, that actually, if we do our duty, and then we should not expect any result, because our all problems start with this thing only, because we need result in everything. Any service we do, we are looking for a result, and sometimes it doesn't happen the way we want, so that we will be disappointed, and we will get angry on someone, and we will start making enemies. So if we just remember this sloka and try to digest it in our heart, not in stomach but in our heart, that only if we don't expect any result, then 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 we will not have any enemy, and nobody will be our enemy also. Hare Krishna,
Okay,
brother.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an extension of Yaduna's Prabhu's uh, capsule. It's in the same vein. Yes, we should not act with attachment to results. We should do our duties, but without attachment to the results. Let Krishna determine the results in his own way, at his own time, based on his own parameters. If we act like this, we can become steadily devoted, and will not have enemies, and will not take any other person as enemy, and people will not take us as enemies. So very good. Yes. Thank you very much. Tama Krishna Prabhu, among all the things you learned in this particular chapter, what is your take home? Share one of your take homes, something you would like to put into practice. Are you there? Hey, Tama Krishna Prabhu, are you there? Oh, you are following the footsteps of Chitraketu Prabhu? Being there and not being there at the same time, trying to create illusion. Okay, Tama Krishna is not there. So, Salika Prabhu, can you share your thoughts with us? At least one capsule to take home that you know that can benefit us as aspiring devotees as Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There are so many lessons in this chapter, but one thing that stands out for me is when Swayam Dhruva Manu was telling Dhruva Maharaj that it is whatever is happening within the material universe is simply illusory energy of the Lord associated with the three modes of material nature, which is the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So that is powerful, because for me, when one realizes that at the end, everything within the creation is a product of the influence of the three modes of material nature, causing creation, maintenance, and annihilation, all of these activities, and in that mode, surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, it becomes a candidate for going back to God. And that was actually the beginning, the middle, and the end of Dhruva Maharaj's life, because it took surrender, it took shelter of the spiritual master from the beginning, not trying to make endeavor by himself. In the middle of his life, when he became the king, he was an instrument to the will of the Lord. And at the end of his existence, it also culminates in that. So the understanding that the Honorable Man is told Dhruva that the illusory material energy of the Supreme Lord and its interactions of the three modes of material nature are the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation is very powerful. And one who realizes this will be free from hunger, hatred, joy, happiness. He will attain the state Krishna described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, which makes one become near to the Lord, because he can see everything as it's connected to the Supreme Personality of God's will. Worship will not make mistakes in whatever he does. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We know that material nature is actually the interaction of the modes of material nature is the cause of many things we are seeing here. And we are able to go beyond seeing material nature as an instrument, because material nature is Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti. Maya Adhyaksha. Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti. Prakriti is just acting under the control of Krishna. And if one can understand the role of the three modes, then we will see things clearly. And that also reminds me of one of my take-homes, the potter, the example of the potter and the potter's wheel. That example will remain stuck. I will not be able to forget it. I will take it. Whatever is happening here immediately is just an instrument of material nature. That whatever is happening is a smaller picture within a bigger picture. And bigger picture, material nature is involved. In the bigger picture, material nature is involved. And beyond material nature is Krishna. So one should be very careful, be attentive to know how things are happening. Then we conduct ourselves accordingly. And also, determination of Dhruva Maharaj. I also learned, I take away that if we have strong determination to do the right thing, there will surely be divine intervention. You have determination to do the right thing, there will be divine intervention. And let us sharpen our focus. That means we have opportunity to become pure devotees right here. We have the opportunities. All the facilities are provided. If you are determined to take advantage of all these facilities, then automatically our success is guaranteed. Because we have tried the mercy of the Guru, we have tried the mercy of the deities, we have tried the mercy of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have tried the mercy of the Maha Mantra, we have tried the mercy of all the Mahajans and the whole Acharyas. So it becomes very easy. So let us sharpen our determination. And I also take home that desires cannot be given up, because as living entities, we cannot be free from desires. Right now, we are desiring material sense gratification and we are suffering. If we dovetail that desire to wanting to please the Lord also, we attain Brahma Sukhya. And it enables me to remember Yeis and Prasija Puga, Duka Yunaya Ebati. People are suffering because they are seeking for material pleasure and endeavoring to bring the senses in contact with the sense objects. So when one tries to bring his senses in contact with sense objects and gratify himself, he attracts unlimited miseries. It is the birthplace of miseries. But if one desires to bring his senses in contact with the service of purificants, then that same desire will be directed appropriately to bring unlimited spiritual. It will bring unlimited spiritual happiness, Brahma Sukhya to Anantam. So desires cannot be given up, but they can be redirected properly. So we should desire to please the Lord and act accordingly, then we attain all the desired success. And a lot more. So many capsules are there. This is loaded. And finally, the panacea for all problems, the solution to all problems is to constantly hear about the glories of the Lord and also tell others about the glories of the Lord. And if one is doing that, one is actually getting cured. It will become cured of all misfortunes. So in all circumstances, we should try the endeavor to hear about the glories of the Lord and take that medicine very nicely and get results. And also, Dhruva Maharaj, when we are corrected for our mistakes, we should accept the correction in good faith and try to develop the proper attitude. Then we attract the blessing and become truly friendly with all the entities. That all lives are sacred. Just as I want to be respected, I should respect others. Many counsels. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And on this note, we'll close the class and we'll wait for tomorrow. Hare Krishna. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. See you tomorrow. Vanchakapatariya Chakripa Sindhya Sivacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.